welcome to my kitchen pharmacy, and we're here with the amazing Lou Corona, world-renowned teacher and healer who has been bringing people health and wellness now for many, many years, decades and decades, and causing people to take their health literally from death's door to vibrancy. And he's been instrumental in helping me with my health personally for the last 3 years. And so it's just my honor to be able to now share him with you, with all the information that he's been learning for all these years, and the products that he uses and how he puts it all together to help you to take your health from wherever it is, whether it's you've got all kinds of crazy health issues, or you're just sort of okay, or you're feeling pretty good but you'd like to feel better. Using these principles that Lou's going to teach us today are going to take your health to the next level. So thank you, Lou, for coming to share with us.
My honor too, really. I look, if you guys see me pass out on you while I'm doing our thing today, it's just because I went down at 4:30 last night preparing this out of pure love for you guys. Just know that. And so when I got up at 7:30 this morning, I said, one side of me said, do I have to get up right now? Can I just go another half hour? And then the other side said, glad am I that I have this privilege to be able to come today and do this once again, to be able to share these teachings and these powerful principles of life that saved my life, 41 years ago. So I'm very, very thankful and very honored and appreciate being here. So,
well, Lou, you know what? What I'm going to do is this is my kitchen, but I'm just going to kind of let you take over it, and we're going to show them, how they can improve their life with the principles, with the products, and then show them the food demos, which we are excited to get to.
Well, I'm glad to see that you're all here, and I'm again again very thankful and appreciate all the time when I get to do this, because as I've gone over the years just living it and doing it, it's one of those kind of things that was so unique, so different. The life I came from was a very conventional life, right? Like most people. I was raised right here in Orange County, so but when I was 21, when I had that breakdown and I ended up with that big tumor and severe acne and chronic asthma and arthritis, going to the bathroom once every 3 weeks, I was suffering, So when I surrendered and I did this and I asked for me to be given the knowledge, what do I need to do to get well, kind of thing. And so when I was embraced by the light and it was shown these specific things that I was shown, once I did all these things, for me to recover in 6 months, dissolve a big tumor and wipe out acne and asthma and arthritis and constipation problems and candida problems and all these different things, it was like revolutionary, very powerful, really amazing kind of thing. I was so excited. I thought, I'm going to go home when I get out of the Air Force, and I'm going to tell my parents, my brothers and sisters, my family, and my friends, and I'm going to share this, and after that, I'm going to give it to the world. I'm going to take my life and spread this knowledge throughout the world, because this is so amazing, like that. I was so excited about it. I still am, but in a different way. So, as overzealous as I was back then, this is nothing compared to back then. I mean, I was like off the hook back then, as far as my zealotness about it. So my family and my friends basically rejected, denounced me, and they thought I went, lost it, So after 2 years, I went silent, and then I lived off the land for many, many years, and just lived a very simple, quiet life. And then 12 years later, I was led to start sharing these teachings. That was in 1988. And then I did that, and because of it, over the years in traveling throughout the world, teaching, training, coaching people, and help them, and guiding them, and facilitating them how to actually apply these 4 principles and how to accelerate the cleansing healing process. And so I've seen what people call miracles today. I've seen them disappear. Like every condition you can think of, I've seen them disappear because of this work. So about 35 years ago, let me get some water or something, but if you could figure that out, that'd be great. Over 35 years ago, I was introduced to the enzyme concept and started learning more about enzymes and enzyme therapy. And when I saw a friend of mine go from skin and bones with cancer, and he was basically given up to die kind of thing. Well, he recovered in 6 months, like fully recovered. And I was very impressed by that. So I studied and researched enzymes and enzyme therapy on a deep level, became an expert myself in the field. And I've been utilizing the whole enzyme concept, working with probiotics and what have you, besides herbs and the 4 principles and all that. So I put them all together, and I've been able to help people accelerate the cleansing healing process. So you remember when you went to the talk, we talked about the 4 principles. So I'm just going to give you a caption on each one of them so you kind of just have it. And in your booklet, that booklet is kind of like the book before that real book comes out in the future. So you might see a couple typos in there and whatever. And also there's 5 blank pages on the back that I told them to put on the back. So that way if you need to take some extra notes, extra recipes that I may share with you, you can throw them back there. But as far as the 4 principles, there's a 1-page outline of the 4 principles, so it kind of gives you a little reminder. But keep in mind and remember that these principles are very simple but very powerful. So they do matter a whole lot more than people think. So the first principle, again, it's related to how you communicate. We have this internal dialogue going on within ourselves, how we're thinking, how we're feeling, the perception that we have on life, how we see life. What perspective we're coming from. How do we take on life? Some people can go through life calm, cool, collect, and then some people go through life stressed out, worrying about everything, and cringing, and stressing out, when other people are calm, cool, collect, and going through the same scenarios. So how is that? We need to be able to learn how to distinguish the difference between how to think powerfully and what kind of thoughts that we're having running through us is actually empowering us and empowering others around us, supporting who we are, and also the thoughts that are disempowering to us and to others around us. That's why I'm more careful now than I've ever have been in what I say and what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, what I'm feeling, and what I'm doing with my actions, because it does determine the outcome of the cells within the body, because you're made up of trillions of cells, right? So this internal dialogue is vitally important. So then you go into the second principle, and that's related to integrating all the elements in life, like the sun, the air, the water, the soil. That's why I'm trying to encourage you, all of us, to breathe slow and deep and become more present to your breath, because it's very, very powerful. Remember, just a couple of minutes without your air, you're done, right? So when you're breathing, you're not only breathing air, but you're also, oxygen, but you're also breathing electrical energy that's in the air that you do not see with your eyes. There's an electrical force in the atmosphere. It really is. And Tesla, back in the day, he learned how to harness that electrical energy that's in the air and the atmosphere and run your whole house for free back in the day. Of course, they did some different things with him to keep that from happening so they could put a meter on your house, but I'm just saying. And this energy is there, though. It exists, right? And so when people wonder, how do I get through life successfully and powerfully, never get sick and feel great, that's one of the keys. Is not only thinking powerfully and being grateful for every moment and really appreciating life and take this body like it's precious to you. This is the thing, this is one of the declarations that you might consider in your future, that from this point on, that you shall love, respect, and honor and appreciate every moment and look at this life that you have as a blessing, as a gift, and treat it so. That's why you'll be more conscientious of how you think and how you feel, more conscientious on how you eat and drink, everything that you do. This is where it's at. So integrating the elements, embracing the sun daily, go outside, spend a little time outside, whether it's rain, snow, or shine, but get outside, get yourself grounded, touch the earth with your bare feet. Rain, snow, or shine, do it. It will actually serve you. I don't think I really realized how powerful it was until I was 40 days in the wilderness, naked, in my body, out there, just one-on-one with nature and everything. And I had some experiences that were just astounding. But the energy that I received being grounded and receiving all the energy from drinking the snow water and embraced by the sun and just tapping in, tuning in and everything, it was astounding, really. It was amazing. So please do that. Give yourself a half an hour a day outside somehow. Get grounded. And The next one is about, the third one is about cellular exercise. I don't care if you get a rebounder, I don't care if you get a jump rope and go outside on the grass and jump 20 minutes. Jump up and down 20 minutes. Whether you do jump rope on the grass, whether you get a good quality rebounder and jump up and down, it's nice about doing that because it does help to take the shock on your joints off by doing the rebounding kind of thing. So it's a good idea. But the idea is to stimulate the lymphatic system and also the cells. So when I say I haven't worked out for 43 years since high school, all I mean by that is I haven't gone to the gym for 43 years. But I do about 20 minutes a day of yoga, breath work, rebounding. Occasionally I do swimming nonstop for 20, 30 minutes because it's really powerful. It's a way how you can stimulate the lymphatic system, you know. And so you need to do that. And when you take showers, take hot and then cold, and then hot and then cold. Do that 3-4 times. That will help stimulate the lymphatic system. Get yourself a sauna. Get in and sweat, and then take a cold shower. Sweat some more, and then take a cold shower, or do a detox bath and break some sweat. And so the next one is the one we're going to be emphasizing on today. That's learning how to feed your body on a cellular level. This is where raw living enzyme-rich food comes in. So you have these different diets out there. Most people in the planet have been raised on a conventional diet. You know, they eat some cereal, maybe some toast, maybe some eggs and bacon, maybe some orange juice, maybe a glass of milk, whatever. But later on, they might have a sandwich or a burger or a hot dog, whatever they have. And then later on for dinner, they might have maybe a steak and a potato and little vegetables, maybe a little salad, maybe a little dessert. Maybe some meatballs and spaghetti with a little bit of garlic bread, whatever the case. Thing is that when people start learning and they start evolving a little bit and they start kind of tapping in, all of a sudden you see them leaning up on the meats. They might be getting off the beef and maybe in pork, and they start getting into more like fish and poultry and things like that. And they start going organic, and they start backing off on the pasteurized homogenized milk, and they start getting organic milk instead. And they start going from white bread to whole grain bread, and then they start getting into maybe slowing down on the coffee, cutting out the Kool-Aids and the beverages and things, the sodas that are very acidic. And then you have these people that start going into this vegetarian lifestyle, but they might have a little dairy and vegetarian, cut out the meats out. And then you get the people that go into vegetarian vegan lifestyle where they go off all the dairy, all the animal proteins and all that. And unfortunately, over 95% of the vegetarians in the world are still getting sick and weak and pale because they're not getting the adequate protein because they're eating it cooked. So people wise up after that, so then they start getting into what they call raw foods. So they start eating raw fruits and vegetables, raw nuts, raw seeds. They get a little healthier, but they still suffer. Then you get people that get into evolving a little bit more, and they go into what they call raw living, cultured foods, enzyme-rich foods. And this is what you're going to be learning today. So we have people that, like I know someone right now that's been living on raw foods for 40 years as an example. Vegetarian, vegan, raw food lifestyle. He's been doing it for over 40 years like myself. And the hair's falling out, he's aging fast. I'm not going to say his name because I'm not about that, but I'm just saying his hair's falling out and he's aging fast and he's losing power. And people think he's 20 to 25 years older than myself. But in reality, he's really 2 years younger. And people are wondering why is that? I mean, he's raw, he's vegetarian, he's vegan. What's up, right? So that's what I'm saying to you is that when we start bringing in the enzymes in, and when I found out about, I told you earlier that my friend was dying from cancer, skin and bones, given up to die. So when he got into enzymes and enzyme therapy, I'm talking about medical grade, plant-based, full spectrum, highly active enzymes. So within 5 months, cancer is gone, weight's coming back, his colors come back, and he's clear of cancer. I'm pretty impressed by that. So that's when I studied it, and that's when I learned it over 35 years ago. So I've been ingesting it myself, and I've been evolving with them through time, researching, but evolving with them. And through technology, we've been able to make things better and better and better through the years. And so it was always a dream of mine many years ago, 40 years ago, that I could actually form a company and make books and workbooks and DVDs and package the knowledge and the information that I've acquired, the experience that I have, and make it available to the world. And part of that dream was to be able to carry the highest quality enzymes in the world for the lowest cost in the world. So it could be available to people out there because, they charge a lot. It costs a lot of money to make enzymes, to extract them from the plants and then concentrate them into capsules. It costs a lot of money. But most of all the companies out there, I've been around the block, and so they like profit, right? So, and I saw what they were doing. I saw what they do in the supplemental arena out there in the industry. I've been around. And so I thought, you know what? It'd be so cool if we could have something that's superior next to none, 3 times stronger than everybody else, and make it for lesser than everybody else. So we can make it affordable to people and really start helping people get well. So if there's going to be one thing that you're going to take as a supplement outside of the 4 principles that I highly advocate is, and like I say, there's different diets, different levels of awareness, different levels of consciousness. Some of us are faced with addictions and what have you. I understand all that. I've been through it all myself. So please know that I love you just the same, no matter where you're at, or where you're going, and how you're going to get there, and what stages and levels you need to, get there, and what experience you. Some people have to wait until they break before they're willing to fix. I mean, that's just the way it is, Obviously, I was one of them. I didn't mean to do it that way. It's just that I was always asking questions to my mom. Hey, is this good for me? Not good for me? But my mom didn't know any better. So I'm thankful. I'm very, very thankful that I suffered and went through all the dilemma and all the suffering that I went through. Because of that, it drove me to find out, And really, in all truth, I asked many doctors what was causing all my problems, and really, in all truth, it got me to the point where I actually became in sync. I put my hands together, and I somehow synced up, locked in to the Most High, and somehow I was able to surrender, and somehow I was able to request exactly what I needed, and somehow I received it. And thankfully, I heard it, got it, did it, and got well. And I've been well ever since. So when I do this, and what I'm about to say, or the rest of the things I'm going to say today, it's really, and what drives me is to do it from a spiritual perspective, really. That's why I think the way I think, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and that's why I'm meeting the way I'm meeting. It's all spiritually related. So as far as I'm concerned, everything you think, feel, do, eat, and drink, if you come from love, if you love this life and you really appreciate it, you're going to do your best to think powerfully and just love, love, love. And anything outside of love doesn't work anyway. So there's no sense in judging, criticizing, condemning, or ridiculing anybody or yourself any longer, because it doesn't work. All it does is create stress and acidic condition in your body, and it sets you up for conditions and diseases. Because I've worked with thousands of people, and I've seen every condition on the planet leave and disappear with people that are willing to surrender, willing to do the work. This is not about just taking something and all of a sudden everything happens, you know what I mean? So what happened is recently, somebody had massive pain for 20 years, and the pain went away 10 days later after I did some intensive teaching and training for 10 days, doing all this, and 10 days of intensity behind it all, really tapping into the 4 principles, getting clear and complete with past issues, clearing and releasing the blockages in the body and so on, blasting her with enzyme therapy and oxygen therapy, herbal therapy, probiotic therapy, and all these things I'm going to show you. 10 days later, the pain, she had such incredible results that her husband is doing quite well, and he says, Lou, this is incredible. I go, yeah, it is. It's amazing. I'm glad you guys are doing the work and taking initiative and doing it. I'm very thankful you're doing that. I mean, it's always great when people have results. I live for that. It's amazing. He goes, no, Lou, how come your name is not a household name by now? And I said, well, listen, I'm just doing the work. I just keep doing it over and over and over and just keep helping as many people as I can. He said, no, Lou, how come you don't have books, workbooks, DVDs? How come you don't have a website? How come you don't have a company? How come you haven't taken this concept global? And I go, well, I never had a team of people to help me put it together and package it until now. Now we're working together to package it. Now we're just raising money to make it all possible and make it available to the world. He goes, so how much money do you need? And I go, well, I could tell you 10 million and do it right. And but even $500,000 would be enough. And he says, let's do it. I don't have 10 million, but I have $500,000. And let's do this. Let's make it happen. I believe in what you're doing. So all of a sudden, before I knew it, they asked me what the name of the company is going to be. And I said, I don't know, but it's going to come from the vision of this company. And so what's the vision? And I go, well, the vision is to create a paradigm shift in consciousness and how people live today through the 4 principles, and create tools and support materials to help make it possible so that people can easily walk into it and adopt it and take it on for themselves. And out of all that, we will create healing centers. There'll be 7 of them, 7 healing centers in the world that people can come to, and they can learn and cleanse, heal, regenerate themselves back to wellness for free. We'll figure out a way how to make that happen for free, at least the first month. That way they can get in there for free and cleanse, heal, regenerate, and learn the process, learn what to do, and they can go home and keep doing it and heal themselves. You know the best doctor is? You know the best doctor is? The best doctor is the one who can cleanse and heal and regenerate themselves. And then they can take others and show them how to do that. Those are the best doctors. People have asked me, who are you, Lou? What are you? And then people say, Lou is beyond a doctor. He's the one that teaches doctors how to help their patients get well. Because when you learn how to live powerfully, you can actually cleanse, heal, and regenerate yourself. So I'm about showing you how to cleanse and heal and regenerate yourself and be the best doctor you can be for yourself. It just takes a couple things. One, desire to do whatever it takes to get well. The next thing it takes is taking responsibility. Love your life and take responsibility and do whatever it takes to get well. And just be willing to give up the addictions, whatever you may have, and replace them with good habits that will help you support yourself. Now, when I said the vision was to create a paradigm shift in consciousness, my nephew was there when I said that, and he said paradigm. And when I heard that, I said, that's it, paradigm. It resonates with paradigm. They're spelled totally different. But I thought, you know what? Pure thinking, pure heart, pure body, pure life. And at the same time, it's a paradigm. So when we can start shifting ourselves back to the basic way of living like we did in the beginning, like the way it was intended, we can actually have a really healthy, vibrant life, So Paradigm was the name of the company, P-U-R-A-D-Y-M-E. And so the first thing that we came up with and put together through all these years of technology is called LifeZyme. And LifeZyme is L-I-Y-F and then Z-Y-M-E. And life is spelled different because it means, as an acronym, it means life in your food. So we're trying to educate people to put life in your food. Because remember, every time you cook your food, the enzymes are destroyed through the cooking process, right? So, but we must remember, consistently remember, that when you eat cooked food and it goes into your body has to sacrifice and give up more of its own enzymes to digest that food more than you remanufacture within your body. And you become enzyme depleted through given time. So that's why when Dr. Edward Howell, medical doctor scientist, years ago, went all over the world for 50 years searching for the longest living people in the world and discovered that these people who live 120 plus years are living on enzyme-rich foods and don't get sick. And he thought, interesting. So as he did his research, he discovered that enzymes was a missing link to why these people are living on these high quality lives. Long years, quality life, don't get sick, feel great, and they die. When they pass on, they pass on in peace, without the cancer, without the diseases. They just go to sleep and go in peace, and that's it. I think if we're going to come to this world and leave this world, I think it'd be nice if we could go in peace instead of suffering with tubes in our ears and tubes in our nose and up our behinds and everything else, So LifeZyme is one of those superior multiple digestive enzymes. These are three times stronger than the best enzymes that I was working with before, and for a lot lower cost. And these are the ones you take around, 4 or 5 with each meal. Some people take 7 with each meal. I have some people take 10 with each meal. It just depends on how enzyme deficient they are. If they're going to the bathroom once a week, they might take a little bit more, It depends on what they're eating. It depends on how enzyme deficient they are. But if you take too many, believe me, you're going to go to the bathroom. It's going to clean out your system. It's not like taking herbs that stimulate you. These are enzymes that actually break down food. So that's why when I did that oatmeal demonstration and I cooked up some oatmeal and cooked it up, let it cool down, it got real sticky. Remember that? Well, when I put this capsule in there and went like that, it liquefied. Remember that? Well, they actually break down food, and that's their purpose. Enzymes' purpose is to break down your food into micronutrients so you can deliver them into the cells and then metabolize and convert your food into energy, muscle, hair, skin, and bones, make more enzymes, make more hormones, and eliminate the waste and run efficient. That's what it's about. And when that's not happening consistently, then what happens is you end up with a partial digestion. So as you become enzyme deficient, you end up with partial digestion. That means that some of your proteins, carbohydrates, and fats get digested, and some of them don't. And what doesn't get digested and processed and metabolized and utilized, they putrefy, ferment, and acidify in the body, which attracts parasites and viruses and bacteria and yeast, right? Do I need to stop for a second?
No, keep going.
Okay. So this, when you're attracting parasites, viruses, bacteria, and yeast, this is what gets us in trouble. This is what causes the infections and the diseases and the obesity and premature aging and all these things. Because these little critters, when they're attracted into the body, when they're living on this waste, they proliferate, they multiply in your system. And also they go to the bathroom inside your body. And when they go to the bathroom and they excrete their waste byproducts from their little bodies, their waste is very, very acidic, very poisonous and deadly, and it leads to sickness and diseases galore. And there's only one disease really, it's called toxemia. Toxemia is what links up to every disease known to man. And that's why when Dr. John Tilden wrote the book called Toxemia Explained, he actually wrote in his research, he discovered that when you release all the parasites, viruses, bacteria, candida, heavy metals, chemicals out of the body regenerates itself, it recovers itself. So that's why he realized that toxemia was really the root cause of all sickness and disease. As far as I'm concerned, based on my experience, it's not just parasites, viruses, bacteria, yeast and fungus and heavy metals and chemicals. It's also toxic thinking and toxic emotions. You know, you might say very unhealthy perspectives that people come from. That's why when I say that from this point on, everything that goes on in your life from here on out, whatever it is, that you take massive responsibility for your life from now on, and whatever you attract into your life from this point on, you take responsibility for it. And you start learning, growing, evolving, and realizing that whatever you experience, whatever you attract into your life, it is a lesson. It's an opportunity for you to learn and grow and evolve and become stronger, wiser, and better because of those experiences. And as you keep doing that, you keep fine-tuning, and getting better, better, and better. That's why I was so impressed when Dotty's done so much research, so much learning, and trying to do her best to help people understand how to live a more powerful life, not only for herself and her family and her kids, but she cares about beyond that. She's trying to spread it out to all the mothers and all children out there into the world so they can have a great life. But even as such, no matter how much she's learned, no matter how much she's done to help people and continues to do that, which I totally respect and appreciate and admire her for that. But the thing is, when I walked in, she says that little statement, "I want to kill you." Just kidding around, right? And then maybe 10 minutes later, 20 minutes later, I don't know, whatever, I'm walking behind her and she sticks that leg up like this, not thinking, not planning on it, not deliberate or anything, but she sticks her leg right up like that and I completely trip over myself. I'm just about ready to fall on my face. But thankfully, I still got coordination going on, you know, so I pulled out of it. But she humbly said, "You know, when I said that and then I did that, it's kind of interesting how my actions, how it corresponded and supported what I said. So maybe I should be more careful what I say." So she's quick to pick up on things. And she's humble enough to look at that and go, maybe I should be more conscientious, more careful what I say, what I think, what I say, how I do things. Because it does make a difference. Because it does. See, she's humble. And she's and teachable and willing to learn from her own experiences as well, and learn from other people's experiences. So hopefully you can learn from my experiences that I've been through so you can evolve and become stronger, wiser, better people. But if you're going to do one thing outside of the 4 principles, take lifetime, as I've done over the years. The only thing is these are just far superior now, and there's no fillers. This one has no fillers where all the other ones do. And we're not using synthetic cofactors. Cofactors, in most cases, they use synthetic cofactors for the enzymes to work. We're using whole food cofactors. Big difference. This takes it to another level, beyond measure. So this is great. So if you're going to take one thing, take lifetime. Take it with your meals right before you eat. You might start off with 3 or 4 with each meal, and then do that for a day or 2, see how you feel, how you do, and then gravitate to 5 with each meal. On the average, people take around 5 with each meal. You know, that's the average. But like I said, you feel it. You get a sense of what you need. Depending on what you're eating and how deficient you may be, if you need to get specific, if you need to call me and get a one-to-one appointment and get the blood work done, the live blood analysis, and find out what you really need and where you're at and how to accelerate things, you can always get a hold of me if you need to. The next thing I would consider would be Life Biotic. Life Biotic is a friendly bacteria. It's got 5 strains in here. Great for the intestinal tract. It's great to reestablish the intestinal flora. You want healthy intestinal flora, a good army of strong, friendly bacteria within your gut. And so what I like to do is I like to take a teaspoon of this. It only comes in powder form. I like to take a teaspoon at nighttime before I go to bed with a little bit of water, swish it, and swallow it. I also like to take a teaspoon and put it in the blender with some pre-soaked seeds, nuts or seeds, and blend it up into a cream, let it sit for 6 hours, and turn into yogurt. Like, remember last time we got together and we did that class? Well, we did an introduction kind of thing. Well, here's almond coconut yogurt, again, right? So, but with this time we're going to make stuff with it, like a whole bunch of different things. So I like to take a teaspoon of Life Biotic, put it in the blender, blend it up, and then make it into a cream, and let it sit for 5 or 6 hours and turn it into yogurt. And last time you had it, it was pretty tasty, wasn't it? Did it have a little bite to it? Yeah. Did anybody not have it? You guys didn't have it? Okay. Well, I don't think we ran out. Were you there? No. You were there? And you didn't get any? Oh, I got you. Okay. You were there?
I missed it.
You missed it. Well, we're gonna make up for it today. That's it. And so, but yeah, you can make yogurt. You can make almond coconut yogurt is my favorite one. But you can also make macadamia coconut yogurt, Brazil nut yogurt or Brazil nut coconut yogurt, pine nut yogurt, walnut yogurt, pecan yogurt, sunflower seed yogurt. It's endless. All these different yogurts you can make. Now, why would you make yogurt? What's the purpose of making yogurt out of seeds and nuts? Because nuts are very hard to digest. Even if you soak them in water, they don't always germinate. Most of them don't germinate and become enzyme activated. So how you can enzyme activate the nuts and seeds is by slightly culturizing them like I just shared with you. Now, why would you do that? Because when you take Life Biotic and put it together and blend it up, you let it sit, these little friendly bacteria start multiplying and digesting and enzyme activating your seeds and nuts. So it not only gets them pre-digested, so they become more bioavailable to your cells. So what it does, it helps to release the protein amino acids that are in the seeds. See, all nuts and seeds have proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. But if you can pre-digest them and break it down into proteins into amino acids, the carbohydrates into glucose, and fats into fatty acids, and make them bioavailable to your cells, and eating sort of like you might say partially pre-digested food, when it goes in your system through smoothies and dressings and soups and dips and ice cream that we're going to show you today, you're going to get an array of complete amino acid chains. You're going to get all the fatty acids. You're going to get the glucose. And you're going to be able to build muscle, hair, skin, bones. You're going to manufacture metabolic enzymes that take care of you running your whole body. Your hormones, they need to stay in balance, right? Yes. Do you know that if your hormones... Do you know?
Yes.
Yes, right.
Women here, we need hormones.
Do you know do you know that if you're not getting all the proteins broken down into amino acids and you're not getting the amino acid chain into your system, you're not going to be asleep at night when you need to sleep. You're going to stay awake. Did you know that your hormones will go out of balance if you do not digest your proteins into amino acids? So if you're eating cooked proteins and then you're using up your enzymes faster than you're making, and then you become enzyme deficient, then you cannot break down proteins completely into amino acids, so then you end up with amino acid deficiency, but therefore then you end up with a hormonal imbalance. You're not going to be able to manufacture the necessary metabolic enzymes that run your whole system. You're not going to be able to manufacture all the necessary hormones. So you're going to end up with a hormonal imbalance. So when I was working with a medical doctor, I'm still working with her, she does what they call hormone replacement, bioidentical hormone replacement. And when she saw what I was doing, she was all over it. She is astounded what we're doing. Because you see, as soon as you start getting the amino acids and you start manufacturing hormones yourself, you don't need the hormone replacements anymore, you see. You see, this is the thing. So when you see people losing their muscle tone, that's a hormone imbalance, right? And when you see the libido disappearing, that's a hormone imbalance, right? So when you start learning how to make sure you get plenty of protein amino acids from protein foods, but breaking it down, pre-digesting it like this, and taking your enzymes to make sure you digest everything, assimilate everything, metabolize everything, convert everything into energy, muscle, hair, skin, and bones, and make the enzymes, make the hormones in your body, stay up to par. That's why even though I worked late and I prepared into the late night last night at 4:30, got up at 7:30, and for me to stand here right now and be with you guys and love every moment and be happy and excited about it and have energy to boot and to do that, at the same time have enough energy to do all this we're going to do today and just rip right through it and still have energy to have enough core energy to even do a plank. That's the first time that's ever happened. Sorry about that.
And you're not 20. What's next?
I'm not what?
Well, you're not 20, so it's like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? To have all that energy and to go play, period. Even some 20-year-olds can't run.
That's usually true. Went to a raw gourmet restaurant the other day, and the guy said, they asked the kitchen, all the kitchen people, what my buddy's age was and what my age was. And they said, oh, he's about 25 when he's really 30. And then they said, and that I was around 30. And then when they said I was 62, they all said, let me see your driver's license. That's what happened. Anyway, so Pure Life is a highly, highly concentrated probiotic. And the only reason I like to use this one for people, I just use this one and this one. And, well, there's sometimes you have people that have a lot of putrefaction in their system, maybe because they've been eating a lot of animal protein or even a lot of cooked protein foods, even on the vegetarian side. So if they're prone to infections, if they have anything like PMS, inflammation, endometriosis, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, those type of issues, cancer, they need something like Pure Life, because Pure Life is a strong probiotic like this one, except they enhanced it with proteolytic enzymes, so it's even stronger when it comes to proteolytic ability, that it has to break down proteins into amino acids, but also break down the putrefied protein in people's system. People that have the conditions I shared with you, they have a lot of trapped, undigested proteins that have putrefied and accumulated in the system. So people with cancer, fibromyalgia, endometriosis, chronic fatigue, Parkinson's, loss of muscle tone, things like acne, PMS, IBS, irritable bowel syndromes. Yeah, they need this one. I had a lady that had a tumor in her neck causing a pinched nerve, and she had inflammation throughout her body. She had a lot of trapped undigested proteins when we did live blood analysis. So she took 20 of these in the morning and 20 of these at night. She took 10 Lysozymes with each meal. And where's Purazyme? I don't see Purazyme here. Is Purazyme here? No, this is Pure Life.
Oh, it's over there.
Oh, that's Lysozyme. No. Purazyme. It's missing here. Do you have one back there? So anyway, she took 10 Purazymes. It's about this size. They also come in this size too. So, you find one? Excellent. Thank you. Purazyme. Purazyme It's a highly, highly concentrated enzyme. It's even beyond lysozyme, but it's not like a broad spectrum of enzymes. This lysozyme is a broad spectrum, so it covers all food groups. That's why it's great to take with meals. But this one here just has a few basic, highly concentrated enzymes to help you digest the undigested proteins, carbohydrates, and fats that are trapped in the body. Once the body becomes enzyme deficient through time, and they have trapped undigested proteins, carbohydrates, and fats in the system, and we can validate that through the live blood analysis. I can validate it by asking you a few questions, checking out the symptoms, checking out your pressure points, and a sense and a feel. I can tell if you have trapped proteins, trapped sugars, trapped fats, by your symptoms and by reading you and by checking your pressure points. But Purazyme, and most people have some form of undigested proteins, carbohydrates, and fats anyway because they eat cooked food and they become enzyme deficient after time. But Purazyme, again, is designed to take on an empty stomach between the meals therapeutically. And what I love about this one is that when you take them, they go right into your system on an empty stomach an hour or more before meals. See, an hour or more before meals or 2 hours or more after meals. And when you ingest them during those times with water or juice, not with solid food, what happens is these little guys go in the system like little Pac-Man and begin to break down this excess undigested proteins, carbohydrates, and fats due to an enzyme deficiency that people have acquired. And so when I had that lady that migraine headaches for 38 years, every single day, she had a migraine headache all day long on heavy medication every day for 38 years. 10 days later of doing the things I've talked about and the things I'm going to show you today, 10 days, her pain was gone. It's been gone now for about 2 months now. She's free of this pain after 38 years. And the only other solution she had before that, going to one medical doctor after the other, and this lady is a wealthy lady, wealthy. Her house is like a $20 million house, and she's got all the money in the world. Her husband left her a lot of money when he passed away about 10 years prior. But yet she suffered, tremendously suffered. And she lives in Panama, and she was highly referred to me through a doctor. I flew down there, worked with her for 10 intensive days. And it was the best 10 days of her life because she learned how to do what? Cleanse, heal, regenerate herself, and get back to balance. The tumor shrunk enough, unpinched the nerve, headache's gone. Pretty nice. And plus, she's lost those extra 30 pounds already, and she's pretty happy about that. Plus, she feels way better, has a lot more energy, goes to the bathroom a whole lot better, feels a whole lot better. So Purazyme is one of my other favorite ones. I think this is a temporary one, though. Lysozyme is something you take for the next 100 years. Purazyme is something you take temporarily until you clean up. Once your blood's clean, you're cleaned up, all the excess is gone, and you're cleaned up and you're doing well, then you can stop taking this. I still take Purazyme maybe like once a day. I have people that are taking this 3-4 times a day, sometimes 5 times a day. Like she was taking like 10, 5 times a day, empty stomach, throughout the day like that, in increments. Why? Because she was being blasted with enough enzymes to go in her system and do what? Digest this excess undigested proteins, carbohydrates, and fats that were trapped in her body, causing inflammation. And when the tumor shrunk enough and her unpinched nerve took place, the headache went away, she was pretty excited about that. You know, I find it was really interesting. When I talked to them recently, 2 weeks ago, she had one cooked food meal. Check this out. One cooked food meal, and within an hour, her migraine headache came back. And then she said, she's 58 years of age. No, she's 68 years of age. She said, God doesn't want me to cook food. I got it. So that's it. I'm done. So she went right back to raw living cultured foods that you're going to be learning today. And she's been well since. No headaches have come back, and she's pretty happy about that. And she's got it. She's willing to really step up. And the other one you might consider is Life Essentials. It's a whole food protein complex. I love this stuff. I put it in my yogurts, I put it in my smoothies, my dressings, my soups, my dips, ice cream, whatever. And I'm going to show you how to use it today and all the things we're going to be making today. I think that's pretty much it, other than Pura Cleanse. This is something that the reason we put this together is because we've had so much success with this particular formula over the years, and like thousands and thousands of people. So we call it Pure Cleanse, and what it is, it's a special blend of herbs. Not addictive, not dependent on anything, but it's got some stuff in here to help clean and break down that mucoid plaque in the intestinal tract. When people have a history of eating cooked foods, processed foods, whatever, pasteurized dairy products, meat byproducts, breads and pastas and all that in the cooked form, when you become enzyme deficient, see, this type of food is acidic. That's why you might consider getting a book called Alkalinize or Die. Alkalinize or Die. You need to be more aware about eating more alkalinizing forming foods rather than acidic forming foods. So most people eat meats, dairy products, pastas, breads, cereals, crackers, cookies. All that's acidic. So you need to have a distinction between what's alkaline and what's acid forming foods. So what you want to do in the future is eat more alkalinizing forming foods than acid forming foods. It's okay if you have some acid forming foods, but don't make it the majority of your diet. We're talking about out there, people out there are doing 80 to 90% acid forming foods and very little alkalinizing forming foods. So that's why I said, get the book, become more aware, get empowered with this knowledge, alkalinize or die. And he gives you the list of acid forming foods, alkalinizing forming foods, and try to eat more percentage of alkalinizing forming foods compared to acid forming foods, and that will serve you, whether it's cooked or not. I'm always going to advocate that you eat more fresh live foods 100%. So I'm always going to say if you want 100% results, go 100%, right? If you want 100% results, go 100%. But if you want to feel 80% good, 80% healthy, go 80% raw living foods. There's advocates out there that are saying eat 80% raw living foods and 20% cooked, and you'll have a pretty decent healthy life. And he's right. But if you're going to do that, I would definitely take some enzymes every time you eat to help you digest that food better, so you don't rob and overwork your pancreas so much. Now, Pure Cleanse, how you use it is you take a tablespoon in the morning. You can do it in capsule or powder form. So whether you do 10 capsules in the morning with a glass of water or a glass of juice, or take a tablespoon of this Pure Cleanse with maybe some orange juice or some kind of juice with some water, either way, mix it, shake it up in a little container like this, and then just drink it right away before it swells up. It's gonna go in there and it's gonna start cleaning, detoxifying your bowels and your intestinal tract. It's gonna help clean them, tone them, and cleanse them, and heal them, and restore them. So it's very gentle, and it works. I had a guy who was going to the bathroom once a week. He eats 3 meals a day, goes to the bathroom once a week. If you're eating 3 meals a day, you need to be going 2-3 times a day at least. And it should be soft, easy eliminations. But if you're grunting, or if you're hoping and praying and wondering if it's going to happen and all that, and you're struggling through that, then you need some enzymes. You need to do something like Pure Cleanse, you know what I'm saying? And get your flora back up. So, and also drink some good water. Look, daughter's drinking pure alkaline structured water. So through a pre-filter system, and then alkalinized the water is pure alkaline structured water. Next to getting water from nature on the ground, that comes right out of the ground, this is the next best thing you can do. So get yourself a Kagan and drink the water and enjoy it. But you need to drink enough to hydrate your cells, because that's one of the things that's happening with people. They're not drinking enough water to hydrate themselves. Because when you drink water, it not only hydrates your cells, but it alkalinizes your cells. It also neutralizes the cells. So you need to do that. So drink a couple quarts a day, besides some fresh juices. Most people are running dehydrated and don't even know it.